And this is 1935.
Wow.
And my grandmother says, what? She says, yes, I loaned your husband $500 to buy something or something. And so it was a shock to her. Mm-hmm. She's got a dead husband. She's got 2 boys in college. Mm-hmm. And he wants $500.
Wow.
And you know, the stock market fell in 29.
Right.
And money is at premium. And so she, being a durable woman, she went down to the dairy and she brought a cow up to town at her house over there, where you know where it is, over on 4th Street. Mm-hmm. And she had a gazebo in the back, and she kept this cow in the backyard, and she made angel food cakes.
Wow. And
sold them to get the boys through college. That's how tough she was.
Wow.
So
That's
Pearl Irene Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's what happens. So she's doing this, and she's able to save Dr. Gordon's office and the Rexall drugstore, the Neuwirth Hotel, which is above J.C. Penney. Mm-hmm. She was able to save those buildings downtown. And back then, J.C. Penney himself, that started the company, mm-hmm. would travel around to each store. And every year, my grandmother would have lunch with J.C. Penney.
Okay.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, and then interesting that W.R. Howell, who became
the CEO from Claremore.
Right.
So the others, and she saved their home, and those downtown, and she saved 160 acres south of town, 4 miles south of City Hall, where she had a dairy, and she had another dairy, 160 acres down at Tywall. Well,
and she just hired people to work those?
Yeah,
for her?
there was a guy who was in our church, Hausenfluck, and he was running the one at Tywall, and I think she ran the one that was close to town, 4 miles south. And so, let's see. Then what happened was she's selling milk. Well, the people that bought milk downgraded her milk from grade A to grade B. And she said, I'm not going to sell grade B milk. So she shut them down.
Okay.
Well, by this time, she'd stabilized her finances. Mm-hmm. And so she had the 2 farms. And of course, there's buildings downtown. And when my dad came back, because of the stigma associated with his father being popped for drugs, mm-hmm. when he came back, he practiced in that same office to let everybody know there's a Dr. Gordon in that office, and he's straight arrow, and I'm going to overcome, because people made fun of him.
Right.
I'm going to overcome what happened to my dad. And that's the reason he was in that office. Because I asked my mom, how come Pop, all the doctors are out by the Claremore Health Center. Mm-hmm. How come Pop's downtown? Mm-hmm. Well, that's why.
I just remember those steps you had to climb to get up there.
Yeah, two flights.
Tell us a little bit about those buildings that your family owned.
Well,
I mean, explain to the people that are listening.
J.C. Penney.
Yeah.
And
which is now what store?
It's what?
What store is that now?
The J.C. Penney store is the back in time, place in time, or back in the day. Yeah.
And then there was a door that you went up the stairs, and there was a Neuwirth Hotel where older men would stay, where they just had 2 bathrooms,
right.
a heater, a stove here, and then just bedrooms all around.
Right. Like a long hallway with break, and was talking about those last night as he used to have to deliver papers up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Rexall drugstore, and of course it had a fountain and cosmetics, and then a pharmacy, and then it had stairs up and had a beauty shop.
Beauty shop up above, right.
And believe it or not, when my dad came back to town and set up his practice, my grandma charged him rent.
That's good. I can see that.
You think it's going to be free? You're going to pay.
Yeah.
In fact, one time, of course, after my brother and I were born, my mom wanted more children. Well, my dad had 2 boys, and that's all they wanted. And my grandma Gordon approached my father and said, you know, as much money as you've got, you ought to have a baby in the crib all the time. He said, no, I've got 2 boys, and that's all I want.